Tonight on News 25 Nightside, candidate for governor Bruce Rauner does a 180. What's so special about Cable 19? And from Washington, D.C., a surprise for Washington, Illinois. Good evening, everybody. I'm Tom McIntyre.
And I'm Ashley McNamee. Tonight's top story is the decision by FEMA saying Tazewell and 8 other Illinois counties do not qualify for assistance because there was not enough damage. Here's why the federal government has denied aid to local governments. All told, the state did not meet the $17.8 million threshold needed for federal assistance. That's based on the number of people in the state, not in the counties affected.
The per capita per population for a county and for the state is the first consideration, and then we go from there.
Altogether, only $6.1 million was actually submitted in damages, money that would have been reimbursed to city governments for tornado-related expenses like debris removal.
So Governor Quinn's taking quick action today. He's appealing FEMA's stunning decision to deny federal aid to Illinois communities hit by the tornadoes.
News 25's Bo Ebenezer attended a community meeting in Washington tonight, and here's his report.
The message from Washington city leaders was clear as they met with community members. They say they're ready to appeal the denial of their public assistance, no matter what it takes. During the time of recovery, Washington Mayor Gary Menier says the city spent around $6 to $8 million in debris removal and overtime pay for emergency staff. The city expected to get back 75% of that in federal aid. But after FEMA's denial of the request, Washington is hoping a second look will prove they're eligible for the assistance.
The numbers we turned in, maybe not completely accurate, because we learned a lot going forward of what can be given access to some of the funds we've learned through the process.
But for some Washington residents, they can't help but be concerned for the consequences of the spending.
He keeps saying he's not going to overextend himself. The city's not going to go broke because of what they did. I hope that is the case. We're a small town. It was a lot of money.
Right now, Mayor Menier says he doesn't believe the city will have to resort to tax increases or layoffs to compensate for the spending. He is hopeful the appeal process will return the dollars to the city. FEMA officials say it could be a couple weeks before they begin reassessing costs through the appeal process. Mayor Menier says they will appeal a third time if denied again. Reporting in Washington, I'm Bo Ebenezer.
Meanwhile, some good news tonight for residents of the Georgetown Commons apartment complex. FEMA is moving ahead with assessments for individual cases there. To register, call 1-800-621-FEMA or go online to disasterassistance.gov. In other news tonight, a recent state decision reactivating District 150's police force.
Deactivating that force, actually, and as of January 1st, those officers can no longer carry guns or make arrests. But the district has reached a temporary agreement with the city, and now Peoria police officers will help patrol the schools, but it's coming with a price. Some Central High School students don't care that District 150 school resource officers have been stripped of their power.
They don't really do nothing. I don't feel protected with them. Not at all.
District 150 officials say students likely won't even notice a difference.
School safety officers are still working their normal duties, essentially providing security for the school. We're under no obligation to have an armed officer within our school, but that has been the practice here for the last 30 or 40 years.
Now a temporary agreement between the city and school district will have Peoria police officers inside the 4 high schools. The only problem, they don't have a full force. There are only 205 officers right now, when a full staff would be 217. The president of the Peoria Police Benevolent Association says the union feels this violates their bargaining agreement, and they filed a grievance as a result, saying, quote, "We're down a serious number of uniformed officers and we're already receiving mandatory overtime notices. We are committed to keeping our community safe and will go where needed, but what we need is more officers." Peoria city manager says things might be tight at the police department now, but hopefully not for long.
Ultimately, it's our intent is to hire officers and fill the vacant slots that we have as quickly as we can. And get the positions hired as quickly as we can. The next round is in April.
Yurick says the district will pay for the city officers because safety's the priority and this is the best solution.
Meanwhile, Peoria's Don't Shoot initiative is expanding into District 150 schools. Treewind Middle School will begin an anti-crime program next Monday. Don't Start focuses on students at risk of joining gangs. Organizer Carl Cannon told News 25 that the school is commonly known as Bomb Squad territory. That street gang also the target of the first sweep by federal arrests under the Don't Shoot initiative. Perry Rossetto pleaded not guilty to all charges today, and there are a lot of charges. The 43-year-old Rossetto facing over 40 charges after being arrested for a string of home invasions in Peoria. He's only one of 3 suspects arrested, but faces the most charges, including home invasion and weapons offenses. And 22-year-old Marquise Kostick's been convicted of murder by a Peoria County jury. Kostick convicted of the killing of 17-year-old Trayshawn Blakely and the wounding of another teen last April. He's to be sentenced February 27th. His 24-year-old brother, Michael Kostick, will go on trial later this month on the same charges.
Amtrak is canceling 4 train runs with Bloomington Normal. The cancellation is a result of the harsh winter weather earlier this week. The trains canceled on the St. Louis to Chicago corridor are the Lincoln Service 300, 301, 304, and 305. That information is also posted on our website. And taking a live look outside right now through our Road Watch camera network, you can see those roads out there are pretty moist at this hour. It'll be interesting to see if overnight they become slick. Now, a traffic collision alert has been issued for Peoria County tonight, and while the deep freeze has moved out of our area, the rain and snow are just beginning. So for our first check of our weather, we turn to our chief meteorologist, Chuck Collins. Chuck?
All right, Mac and Ashley, yeah, we might have a little freezing on the surfaces tonight, but the temperatures are rising. We're at 30, so that means the chemicals laid down over the past few days will do their job tonight. Temperatures keep rising. They'll rise enough to turn it to all rain tomorrow afternoon. Once again, let's go outside. That's the IDOT Road Watch camera network. That's I-74 and Jefferson, but the camera is turned around looking toward downtown Peoria. Once again, we're at 30, and that's the high for the day. Temperatures slowly rising in the morning to about 32. 39, rain tomorrow afternoon. It's going to be a soggy Friday. The weekend will dry out. There is some concern about some low-level flooding because the rain and the melting snow will go to the lowest areas because the ground is still frozen. More on that coming away in just a couple of minutes. Mac.
All right, thanks, Chuck. GOP gubernatorial candidate Bruce Rauner has reversed himself on the minimum wage question.
An independent person.
Earlier this week, Rauner said he was in favor of rolling back Illinois' minimum wage $1 to make it equal to the federal minimum wage. Today, Rauner said he didn't explain himself very clearly and really wants a national minimum wage raised to $10 an hour and Illinois to match that, as long as Illinois improves its business climate.
The name of a local businessman will not appear on the March primary ballot. Mark Zalkman was hoping to challenge incumbent David Leach for a seat in the Illinois House. However, a ruling from the Illinois Board of Elections says Zalkman lacked 40 valid signatures to stay in the race. Zalkman tells News 25 he is disappointed, but he plans to run again in 2016.
$2.1 million. That's the anticipated deficit for next year's school year at Dunlap's District 323. Superintendent Dr. Jay Marino had said the deficit could be about 1.5. That's been up now. The reason? Increasing student enrollment, decreasing property tax revenues. Dunlap school officials are looking at freezing salaries, raising fees, and cutting personnel to make up the difference. Meanwhile, the district's launched a website called Connect 323, where residents can offer comments. You can find more of that information on our website, cinewsnow.com.
Residents' concerns about a proposed sports complex are being heard. A Louisville Slugger Dome and 10-field complex could be built near the shops at Grand Prairie in Peoria. To address concerns of the future potential neighbors, Councilman Chuck Weaver says developers have now moved the proposed dome to the east side of the property.
Trying to use those west fields that are closest to the neighbors on a limited basis. So those will only be used as overflow fields in the evening. That's a request that's been made.
Chuck Weaver says there is a meeting on the sports complex Monday evening at the Peoria Public Library's North Branch. You can find information on this story on our website, cinewsnow.com.
More to come tonight for Rome and your hometown. Still ahead, a table so nice they named it twice.
But first, riding the waves through the countryside, all while being towed by an SUV.
You're watching your home team at 10 with Tom McIntyre, Ashley McNamee, and Chief Meteorologist Chuck Collins. This is News 25 Nightside at 10.